This is Daf Bays of Eiruvin. Thanks for joining us. And we're continuing discussion the difference between a sukkah and an alleyway. Carrying an alleyway and the walls to make a kosher sukkah. Rav Acha, Rav Chanina, B'Shem Kahana, Rav Chanina said in the name of Kahana that Ein Halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Acha is like Rabbi Yehuda regarding the height of a korah. Whatever he said regarding the height has to be. The law came for his not that the ma'anad amrina for what we said. Rabbi Yehuda Chamim Teheim Halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda and the Chamim Halacha follows Rabbi Yehuda. So Ella begin Adama Rabbi Yaakov Ba'aridin B'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi that Halacha Rabbi Kedivrei Hamekel Behilchas Eiruvin. Halacha follows one who is more lenient with Eiruvin. With Eiruvin, it already is a rabbinic structure, and therefore, since you don't make Gedarim on Gedarim, you make regarding Eiruvin. And the truth is, the Shalmi goes usually throughout all halachas. Whenever we're talking about Rabbanon, you can be makel. You can't makel on the Rabbanon itself, but when there's restrictions on the rabbinic decrees, then you're makel, because the rabbinic decrees are in itself a restriction. You don't have to do restriction on a restriction, so you makel on the Rabbanon. It's obviously, you have to be machmir on the dreises. The Amar Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak B'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, and Rav Nachman Yeshua said the name of Levi. And one more part of what I just said is that the Rabbanon can't change the Torah. We know that. In other words, if something in Torah says usher, the Rabbanon could obviously put restrictions about it, but they can't say it's mutter. So how is it possible to carry if the Torah says usher? Clearly, you can't make a Eiriv an ability to carry on something that Torah says is usher. Torah really says Rosh Rabbim itself is what you cannot carry in, and as such Rosh Rabbim you cannot make an Eiriv in. However, anything that's really semi-carmelist, semi-shayachid, that type of situation, even if it's a public space, and it's not 600,000 people going through, so therefore, according to the Torah, that might not be the raisa of carrying, and therefore the Rabbanan were able to make a kulam and give you a way to carry. So clearly, they're not going to say, oh, the Torah says you can't carry, and we're going to make a magic thing called an Eiriv. Like, no, the Eiriv is to remind you that there are other situations where you won't be able to carry on Shabbos. So halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Umakshinan Aleya, and the Chachamim questioned this. I think this. Lakein Amar Rabbi Yaakov Aridi B'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Halacha Kedivrei Amekel B'Chos Eiruvin. Isn't halacha according to the one that says that you're makel on Eiruvin? Like Cain Amar Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak B'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak said in the name of Yeshua ben Levi. Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Halacha like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. So there we go. So the kashinan alab. So they attributed this challenge like this. So Sarina may one who would have thought Yachid Eitzel Yachid, that one individual gets another individual. Ha Yachid is Chamim, but it's an individual gets a Chamim lie. Then it's a different story. After Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak B'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. So Rab Nachman Rabbi Yeshua came in defense of Yeshua ben Levi. Allah, he says Allah kid Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Allah Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. I feel a Chamim love. Even in a case of Chamim look at him, we're still halachas according to Rabbi Yeshua ben Nuri. Kind good. So that resolves that according to him. So the Chatehei halacha Rabbi Yehuda, and here the halacha that follows Rabbi Yehuda, Avil Chamim Chalukin love, and even when the Chamim are chaylik on him. So Shmuel says halacha Mekel Be'ervin, halacha is according to the one who makes Mekel Be'ervin, and obviously that would apply even to a yachid against a Chamim. So Amarle Rav Chia Barashi, Rashi says to Shmuel, Kigain Hahi Tanatanan, and even if it was a case where we learned in the mission over there, V'chein Sharim Hamafu Loshen, similarly when bridges and beneath it the road passes, Metaltal and Tehei Shabbos, carrying on Shabbos, they're Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Cham said, so therefore, do you go according to Rabbi Yehuda and you're allowed to carry underneath the bridge? Rav Cham said you can't? Like, no. Eiruvin Amarti. We said it only within our Eiruvin, but not regarding the other petitions, like saying that the bridge comes down and makes the walls. So therefore, then the Chum will be right. The question, of course, is going to be how could the Chum be more machmir in Eiruvin when the halacha is you're makel on Eiruvin? So why would the Chum be more machmir on Eiruvin when the halacha is that you have to be makel? So Rabbi Yehuda is right. Rabbi Yehuda is right that you have to be makel on Eiruvin, and therefore he was makel on Eiruvin. Question is why Chum more machmir? Okay, halacha anyway is the halacha state of the Gemara. Savar Kahana Ka'adi the Shmuel. So Kahana agrees with the Shmuel. Lefum Kain Tzarech Meimar Ein Halacha Rabbi Yehuda. For this reason, it is necessary for him to say that halacha is not according to Rabbi Yehuda. La Amar El Lamayla Me'esrim. So that you have one that goes above 20 amis. V'ha b'Seif Esrim Kosher. But the edges of S20 up until Esrim is kosher. But Tanya Karav, and according to the Rav, Dumbarly says that Saif Shur and Lahakya, the end of the shear is to make. In other words, when we say up to 20, we say up to 20, including 20. And we're makel, and we allow that also to be part of the shear. Rabbi Yechon says, Saif Shur Lahakmir. He says, no, when you get 20, then you machmir. Reb Chia b'shem Rabbi Yechon. Rabbi Chia said in Rabbi Yechon, when a mavoi shekai rasai l'mayla me'esrim, that a mavoi whose kaira was higher than 20 amas, noisin kaira b'sayich esrim umayet b'sayich esrim. One places the kaira within the 20 amas, and therefore decreases with the 20 amas. So long as that is touching within 20 amas, even by half an inch or half a centimeter, then it's good, and it brings it down. Rabbi Yisrael says, "Who shehik call hechsher kaira b'seich esrim, that would provide an entire essential part of kaira is within 20 of the floor." Rabbi Chilika Amar b'shem Rabacha, he says, "Afilu kirav asihi." These are going to Rav, and Rav too agrees that the korah must be placed within 20 amis of the ground, but he gives a different reason. The Rav Amar, because Rav says shechita mechzer l'mechzer, for shechita half and half. Kosher, it's valid. So therefore, he says as long as it's half and half, it's maybe half above 20, but it's half below 20. That's good enough. Lama Psula, and why is it in the valid? Marisayan, but only because of Marisayan. Only got a bit of degree, only because we're afraid of Marisayan, and therefore it's going to be possible. But really, the truth is that it really is kosher, but not to make Marisayan. People are going to believe they could go above 20. Therefore, he said reduce it to a little bit below 20. Sheim Tema Sheitein B'Saif Esrim, and if you say that one should place the edge of the 20, Afu Nice Lamala Esrim, you can play higher than 20 as long as it's sticking down. You must decrease if it's above, completely above. Kate said you might. How does he decrease it? Isa Istva Al Pesach Amavoi Umatir Mavoi. He builds a platform across the entrance of the Mavoi and renders the Mavoi. In other words, you don't have to take it down. You build up the entrance a little bit high. You put a saddle on the entrance, and therefore now you have less than 20 in that space. Kama Yeheba, and how much would you still have? Rabbi Acha B'Shem Rabbi Hoshe. Rabbi said Rabbi Hoshe, Arba Tvachim K'dei Makam. That 4 Tvachim, as per the measure, is a legal measure. Rabbi Yosef says Tavach K'dei Kaira. That 1 tefach is a measure for the kaira. So that's the thickness it has to be. It doesn't have to be 4 tefachim. Chavrei amrin. So the scholars say, Kol shehu, any amount. Harein kan gvoya esrem amma al roichav tefach. Because there's no 20 amas and then a tefach wide. Once you go to 20 amas already, you're not looking at a tefach wide. So therefore, even a wire across, and that's how we pass it these days, and we do have a wire across. Loihaya gvoya esrem tefachim. If the kaira was not 10 tvachim high, tzarich lachik. So it needs to be excavated. You got to dig out the ground, either raise it or you can dig out the ground and you can make it 10 tvachim. Kama yichayik. So how should you excavate it? Rabbi Chaim says arba amos k'dei mavoi. Says 4 amos into the mavoi as per the minimum size of the mavoi. So it has to be 4 amos of excavation across the mavoi. Rabbi Yosef says arba tvachim k'dei makom. Really only 4 tvachim because that's a minimum amount of a place. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha, Rabbi Yosa B'Shem Rabbi Yechanan. They say Isa Charetz Al Pesach Mavai. You make a ditch across the entryway of the Mavai. Amak Asar V'Rachav Arba. So then it's deep 4. It's 10 tvachim deep and it's 4 wide. Umatir Mavai, and it renders the Mavai permitted. Bein b'fnei bein mechutz. Whether it's in the inside of the entranceway or the outside of the entranceway, whether the shayachid part of the entranceway or the shtarabim part of the entranceway. And this is true provided the ditch is within 3 tvachim of the walls of the mavai. Afilu command mar taman arba, and even according to the one who says that there is too short, so moide hava b'shleisha, so he agrees that with 3 tvachim. So Taman Chutz L'Mavai. Over there, outside is Mavai, and here we're talking about inside Mavai, whether or not it has to be the ditches situated in the Mavai. So therefore, the ground level of the Mavai, since the animals and people do pass through that ground, Jean agrees that it must measure at least 3 tvachim so people can see it. Of course, we have the problem with bar. The problem with bar is that you're not making a bar for Sharabim. Here you are making a bar in a place where people walk and people can trip and people go into it. That's why it has to be of a certain grade and a certain width, and has to be marked, because otherwise it would be considered a bar b'shel rabbim, and that'll be mazik. So you have to make it enough that people can know that it's a step down and it's a step up, as opposed to just a little ditch over there and people can trip, and then it's going to be considered like you have hezek in shel rabbim. Asa Gader Pesach Mavoi. One makes a fence in the interest of a Mavoi. Gvoya Asa Varachav Arba. So 10 Tvachim high and 4 Tvachim wide. U Matir Mavoi. And the renders the Mavoi permitted. Bein Bifnim Bechotz. Whether it's done in the inside or whether it's done on the outside. Hayasham tail. So there was a mound over there. If the accumulations is 10 tvachim, in other words, that the maximum height is 10 tvachim with 3 of amis, so tzarech kaira, so then it needs a kaira. If not, so then ain't tzarech. The mavoi does not require new kaira in order to carry there. So is Tani Metoich Arba, and there's a Tana who thought that within 4 amis. So long as it's within 4 amis, then it be like considered a new place. Otherwise, not, and therefore you don't need a new place, a new situation, kaira, to carry there. Man demar metoich shosh arbanim within 3 amis of arbanim. Man demar metoich arbanim b'rabeir. This is 3 according to Rabbanan and 4 according to Rameir. Haya munadarin basmuna mavoi. If there's a slope in the middle of an open mavoi, for those who go up, nidon mishum charetz. The slope is the judgment ditch. And the ones that are below mishum gadol because of the slope, and you have to make sure that again we're dealing with Shabbos, also dealing with laws of hexik, and you don't want to have it there, and you also want to make sure that according to those who are carrying, they have the proper height and width of a mavoi in a Tzurus Pesach, and they're able to carry there, etc. Harachav Me'eser Amma, an interest way of that's wider than 10 Ammas, you must reduce it. So, case might, how do you reduce it? You can't obviously dig a ditch or raise a ditch. What do? So how do you do it? So Noilad the Pesach and Mavoi. So you put boards on the entrance of the Mavoi or Matir Mavoi, and it makes the Mavoi permitted. So in other words, now you put them on the width by the posts of the door place, and that reduces the size of the door place. Roichav it's maris, and stated that the width of the entrance tray, Rabbanan of the la afilu b'gvaya. Rabbanan said it rectify even when it's placed high on the entrance, to be below on the entrance, it can be even high in the entrance, but it reduces the entrance, and that is daf beis.